details still being worked out on key sticking points, and they include Medicare expansion, climate, and support for families. I want to bring in now Democratic Congressman Khanna, a member of the House Progressive Caucus. Congressman, thank you. Here we are. Good evening. A senator's mansion and cinema at the White House tonight to negotiate on Biden's agenda. There's also frantic energy to cut a deal on Capitol Hill. But there's still some details that need to be finalized. We see that. Do you feel any closer to an agreement tonight?
Don, I do. We had a meeting with the Progressive Caucus Executive Board this evening, ran late, and everyone there wants a deal.
How soon?
I think it's possible to have a deal this week. The key is that we need some of the priorities in there. The Medicare expansion, that is a huge issue for Senator Sanders, for many progressives, making sure that we have robust climate provisions. But there's a willingness to compromise. There's an understanding that we need a deal this week.
Do you understand? Listen, I had Larry Sabato on last night, and he said that the Democrats as a whole, meaning in Washington, didn't understand how this is being perceived around the country, and that the sort of nitpicking and infighting wasn't helping, especially Virginia, not helping the midterm, not helping other folks who may be up for election, and that the Democrats don't see the big picture. They don't see the forest for the trees. Do you understand what he's saying? Do you agree with that?
I agree that the infighting hasn't helped, but the forest here are the American people. Are we going to actually get them child care? Are we going to actually get universal preschool? Are we actually going to get seniors the dental, the vision, the hearing that we've promised? And so we're not going to say, okay, we're not going to have any fights, but we're just going to forsake the American people and forget our campaign promises. But I agree, the time has come to compromise, get it done, and deliver on as much of the agenda as we can.
So Congress, Speaker Nancy Pelosi met with Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal today. But there's still disagreement over whether a framework on spending is enough to have a vote on infrastructure. Listen to this.
What we've said consistently, and we've been really clear about this, is we want to vote both bills. Now, we're willing to, if there's agreement on the Senate moving forward, and the president has an ironclad commitment from all 50 senators, we will vote both of them out of the House.
Congresswoman Jayapal just said that a framework agreement is not enough to vote for the bill.
Well, I think it is.
Okay, so other progressives echoing the need for a firm commitment. Where do you stand?
Well, I think this is a lot of conflict over proceduralism. Here's what I think will happen. There will be a deal announced. We'll all go to the White House, those who are invited. I don't know if I'll be invited, but we'll go to the White House. We'll say we have a deal. And that is, I think, what the message will be. Now, it takes maybe a week to actually write the language into a bill to get a vote. But the key, in my view, is that the president, before he goes to Glasgow, needs a deal on the climate provisions, and he will have that. I mean, as long as we can come to an agreement. And I think that's what's going to matter to the American people. Can they see a unified Democratic Party, not whether the vote is this week or the vote is in a week from now or 2 weeks from now. That depends on how long it's going to take to put it into text. What I want is a win behind the president.
Okay, so you said, you kind of chuckled and said, I don't know if I'll be invited, but the thing is, would you like to be invited, and what would you say if you do go, or if you had the opportunity?
Well, I've been fortunate to be invited to 2 meetings with the president, and I would go and say this is a historic achievement, that the president has really done something extraordinary to deliver this much for working Americans with only 50 votes in the Senate and only a 3-seat House majority. And he's delivered because of his experience. And when I've seen him in these small groups, he's on top of all the details. He's engaged. He knows what every lawmaker wants. He's actually a very impressive legislator, and he will deserve a lot of credit for getting this done.
Congressman Khanna, thank you. I appreciate your time.
One comment on Toni Morrison, because I'm so outraged by that. What are they going to ban Melville next and Faulkner next and Hawthorne next? I mean, it's such anti-intellectualism. Toni Morrison is one of the great American authors. They're the ones going after our heroes. I just had to get that in.
No, I'm glad you said that. What is good? Do you understand that message, though, Congressman? Since you brought that up, that message seems to be working. Obviously, it's penetrating. Look at Youngkin, where is standing in the polls, and he is running on that message.
I mean, I think when people see the facts that they're going after Toni Morrison, I read one of her novels in 7th grade, and it so inspired me. I mean, she is literally one of the great American writers. Forget whether she's black, white, anything. She's just a brilliant writer. And for all of the Republican rhetoric, don't go after our heroes, don't knock down our statues. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're taking out of the American canon one of the great writers. So we just need to get the facts out there. And I think most Americans aren't that anti-intellectual, and they will really resent going after a Nobel Prize winner who people have described as just one of the great writers of world literature.
Congressman, thank you.